Let's talk some Florida State football. The Noles are looking to bounce back after a terrible 2024. So we are going to break down the roster. I got On3 National Scout Cody Belair. Cody, let's talk about a former 5-star in high school that you think is going to break out for the Seminoles in 2025.
Yeah, Josh, I'm going to go with the incoming transfer who was a 5-star prospect coming out of high school, and that would be wide receiver Deuce Robinson. And here's the deal, Josh. This is a program that just needs to ditch last year, okay? Let's just forget it even existed, okay? So the Seminoles bring in a new QB, Tommy Castellanos, bring in a new OC, it's Gus Malzahn, who definitely fits more of what Tommy Castellanos wants to do in this offense. And I think in the passing game, they want to be explosive. And Malzahn has done a good job of delivering some explosive offenses with all kinds of different pass catchers thriving. But when it relates to Deuce Robinson, I want us to go back in time a little bit, okay? Auburn, Gus Malzahn in the 2010s, when some of his leading receivers were Ricardo Lewis, Tony Stevens, Seth Williams, bigger-bodied, old-school X-type receivers. And that's sort of the role in which I think Deuce Robinson will fill in this Florida State offense, catching anywhere from 45 to 60 passes, but he'll average over 15 yards a catch, and he'll probably sniff somewhere in the 10-touchdown range. This offense wants to run the ball, but in order to do that successfully, you have to have an explosive downfield passing game, and I think Deuce Robinson is going to play a massive factor in that for Florida State in 2025.
All right, let's dig a little deeper into this roster. I want to know a former 3-star recruit from high school that you think will outplay that ranking this season.
Yeah, I'll do you one better, Josh. Let's go with an unranked prospect out of high school. I think we all agree that some of the most dominant Florida State defenses in most recent memory, Josh, have all had a dominant pass rusher, right? Yeah. And with Patrick Payton heading to Baton Rouge next season, the Seminoles went to the cornfields to find their next edge rusher, and they found Nebraska edge defender and former Iowa Central Community College standout James Williams, who followed his defensive coordinator Tony White and D-line coach Terrence Knighton from Nebraska to Tallahassee. And for good reason. They know what they're getting in the experienced pass rusher, and Williams knows exactly how he's going to be used in that defense. And basically what he's going to be asked to do is cause chaos for opposing quarterbacks. And, you look at the stat sheet and say, well, he only sacked the QB 5 times last year. How much chaos is he really causing? Well, he may have only had 5 sacks to his name, but he generated 34 total pressures last year and is a max effort player when chasing from the backside. So I think this is someone that even if he doesn't necessarily fill the stat sheet with sacks in 2025, he will help the other 10 guys around him by constantly applying pressure all season long.
All right, FSU fans, talk to us. Who are you most excited about on this roster heading into the 2025 season? Let us know.